Hey folks, Judd, Zulgad, Jess Myers. Thanks for coming to 1500ESPN.com where, Jess, we saw the Minnesota Wild extend its winning streak to 6 games. And man, a month ago, we were talking about this hockey team and we were talking about what are they going to do for golf in the spring, what's going to happen to Mike Yeo, who's going to be in goal. Devin Dubnyk is acquired, I believe, January 14th.
January 15th he came aboard.
Yep, and he plays against Buffalo the next day. And the goaltending move was absolutely huge here, but I'm hard-pressed to just say it's about goaltending. That's where it starts. But what would you assess this team's complete and utter turnaround in the past month? If it starts with goaltending, what's happened with the forwards, the defense? The confidence of this team seems to be sky high.
The big thing we saw tonight and the big thing we've seen recently, the confidence, as you say, is a huge boost. Tonight we saw the power play kick in. And I mean, you talked to Vancouver tonight, they didn't feel like they played that bad a game. They just said we couldn't match their energy on the power play. The way the Wild were throwing it around, the chemistry they showed. You made the quote and I tweeted it. They looked like the Globetrotters out there. I mean, this team all of a sudden seems to be able to find one another and has taken their special teams game to a new level. So that can't really be attributed to goaltending, save for the fact that, they gave up a shorthanded breakaway, could have made it 2-2 if Vancouver scores there. Dubnyk didn't make the save, it hit the pipe, but,
right.
Stuff like that, it seems like a month ago, that goes in the net, they lose their momentum. Everything has changed with this team. It's amazing. It's you and I sitting here doing video, it's like it's October again, and we're talking about how exciting this team is, and
exactly.
Everything that was going right then seems to be going right again.
So 5-3, the Wild beats the Canucks tonight, plays the Jets on Tuesday night. So tell me this. First 10 games they go, I believe, 7-3, and we're talking about this team looks really, really good. And then the goaltending starts to decline, and the rest of the team declines, and guys seem to be playing a lethargic brand of hockey at best. Who is this team? What's its identity? I mean, is this the team we saw in October? Is this the team we're seeing now? Is this a semblance of the team we've seen in between? Because there doesn't seem to be, if it was a sort of an up and down pendulum, you could say, okay, this team's a bit inconsistent. They're not just inconsistent, they're wildly inconsistent, no pun intended.
This team is very talented, okay? And I mean, I think tonight we saw glimpses of what we saw back in October. Again, a team that on its game has a lot of forward talent, that is very sound defensively, and if they get goaltending, they can win a lot of games. Now, here's what concerns me. You shouldn't be that fragile. You shouldn't let bad play by one player, and granted, it's the most important player on the ice, it's the goalie. You shouldn't let that drop you down as far as it did for, let's be honest, a good 2-month span there. This team did not have a lot of fight in December and January, and there's got to be a point where you say, yeah, the goaltending's not playing well, but let's score enough goals and let's win this game. That's what Mike Yeo was trying to get out of this team. Credit Chuck Fletcher for making the move, and again, I predicted maybe Devin Dubnyk would be a guy that would be available. I didn't think in my wildest dreams they'd actually go out and get him, because I didn't think I'm that smart, and I'm not that smart.
And he'd play this well.
Yes, he absolutely did. And tonight was a typical night, or a good example of how things can go. Devin Dubnyk wasn't great tonight.
Nope.
He allowed 3 goals. He looked out of position a few times. But you play well enough, you get some special teams goals, you play well on your power play, you move the puck, and this is what you should do at home. You should be able to put up 5 goals if you move the puck that way.
Am I correct in saying that when you watch this team from the press box here, the one thing that seems to me to be different is they seem to have, how can I put this, altered their forecheck slightly to allow the defensemen to pinch in and play more.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's Ryan Suter and Spurgeon and that crew having more confidence in Dubnyk, or if that's a conscious coaching decision. But in my opinion, we're seeing the defensemen be a lot more proactive in joining the offense. And with a good goaltender, that makes sense. But it's almost as if they're being coached now to do that. And this all goes back to my point, which is, if this is true, then if you're Chuck Fletcher, you probably should have made this move long ago, because now, if this is all predicated on we can play like this because we have a goaltender that we can trust, then shame on them for not having a goaltender that they could trust before this.
Absolutely. Marco Scandella typifies that so well in the fact that he's not afraid to rush the puck, and he's obviously, the coach won't say this, but he's obviously given Scandella the green light. That, how often do we see Scandella below the circles in the offensive zone making a play or trying to, throw the puck across ice, a wicked cross, if it was soccer is what you'd call it.
And that's what they did tonight a few times. And it's a great play.
Yeah, and
because it can end up on goal.
Again, when you have that confidence and hey, if I turn this over, this guy's probably going to bail me out. You can make more of those plays. That's the way Mike Yeo wants this team to play, and that's the way they're now able to play better as long as they have confidence in the guy in net.
Zucker and Carter hurt tonight in the first period.
Yes.
This team played with 10 forwards throughout most of the game. If those two are lost for a lengthy time period, and it sounds like from what Yeo said after the game, it will be a while, what does that do to this team's depth at forward?
Well, they've got some guys they can call up. The most prominent name and a guy we know well is Stefan Veilleux. He is not a replacement for Jason Zucker. Let's face it, nobody is a replacement for Jason Zucker.
The
way he's played recently, he's been a real spark plug for this team. That could be a huge loss. Scares me when they say upper body injury and undetermined, because that to me sounds like possibly a concussion. And as we've talked about before with concussions, you just don't know. So that's going to be a big blow. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Taking Jason Zucker out of this lineup right now is going to hurt this team.
Does this team, in your opinion, right now, make the playoffs?
The stats say no. My gut tells me yes, but it's hard not to be confident when you've got a 6-game winning streak and it seems like everything's going right.
When will a Mike Yeo coach team not go into the you-know-what in the months of December and January? It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
if you look at the track of his teams, it is unbelievable.
The holidays are stressful for everybody.
Is that what it is, Jess?
I think that might.
Holidays do something
be it. It's the dead of winter. It's a kind of a depressing time. It's gray. It's cold. No, I don't get it. You're right.
It's the
wildly
damnedest thing
inconsistent.
when you look at the records.
Pun may be intended. Wildly inconsistent, and that's just the way they've always been.
Thank you, Jess. Jess Myers, Judd Zulgad, thanks for coming to 1500 ESPN.com. Also, check out our coverage of the Wild. The Wild beats the Canucks 5-3. The winning streak is at 6. We'll talk to you soon.
On to Winnipeg.
I'm going to shut this off. Bye.